Welcome to the Vampire Slayer Legacy. Spellcaster Supreme Rachel Redding is visiting her childhood home, Redding Castle, for Harvest Fest. As a level 10 chef, she decided to cook a grand meal for everyone, despite most of her family being vampires. She's thrilled to see her mother Scarlet, even if she is a ghost, and asks for her help in the kitchen. Rachel doesn't speak to her birth father anymore, but her stepfather James Elderman is here. Additional family members trickle in as they're cooking, including her niece Rhonda and her brothers Gabriel and Reginald. Her brother Ren, however, was nowhere to be seen, which is strange considering he's the only one fathered by James. Rachel's son is also absent, and somehow with a level 10 cooking skill, Rachel still managed to start a fire. Not really sure how that happened, whatever. She decided to use magic instead to clean this mess up and to serve dinner. Fish and chips? Alright, let's call everyone to the meal. Since there's so many vampires in the family, the meal wasn't really to everyone's taste, but the non-vampires like Gabriel seemed to enjoy it. After dinner, Rachel returned home to her tower in Glimmerbrook. She wanted to call and ask her son why he wasn't to dinner, and after giving some attention to her cat, she retired to her study to do just that. "Hi Mom, happy Harvest Fest," Leo Munch answered his phone. "Leo, just where were you tonight? Your grandmother asked about you." "Oh, sorry, I'm with Xander, and you know how your family is, so we had dinner with Dad." "You were with your father? That overinflated, egotistical—" "Mom, I gotta go," Leo interrupted. "I've got people over." After hanging up with his mother, Leo stepped out into the hall to speak with his father, Wolfgang. They talked about Xander. It was Wolfgang's first time meeting his son's boyfriend, but he certainly approved of his choice. Though Leo takes after his mother, Xander is a Lycan, like Wolfgang, and he made a good first impression. As the night came to a close, it became clear that Xander was going to stay the night. Wolfgang saw himself out, and Leo spent some time talking to Xander. Xander knew that Leo's dad was the famous musician Wolfgang, and he was nervous to meet him, but Leo assured him that he did well and that his father liked him, and then he took him to bed. Next door, Frank Newman was the first to wake up. He took care of his bladder, started the laundry, and started cooking breakfast. Maggie woke up while Frank was cooking and decided to clean up a little bit. I removed the melancholy trait from Maggie because it was so intense, and I replaced it with the introvert trait instead, so now she gets dazed when she's around other Sims for too long. Andrew woke up and stumbled into the kitchen while Frank and Maggie were eating breakfast. And while he was eating, Maggie left for school. Maggie puts on a happy face as she walks through the crowded hallway. As an introvert, the sheer number of people here makes her uneasy. While she was watching the T-Pose challenge, another student named Silas Bolton walked up and started talking to her. This is Rose's twin brother, and although Rose had been mean to Maggie in the past, Silas was being friendly. The bell rang while they were talking, and Maggie went to class. Exams are today, and she hadn't studied, and this weird bug that I've seen before came back, where during exams, Sims get up and cancel attending class, and I have to tell them again to take their exam. After class, Maggie tried talking to a few students, but decided her time would probably be best spent with a punching bag. She spent most of her lunch period practicing fighting vampires, but stopped a little before the bell rang because it's a long walk back from the gym to her classroom, and she didn't want to be late for class. Again, during her exam, Maggie tried to get up and leave class, and I had to stop her. This is a really annoying bug. Let's just say it's because she's thinking about fighting vampires and not thinking about her exams. She was asked to write a binary program, and she has no programming skills, so she decided to wing it, and she received a small luck-based exam boost. After class, Maggie noticed another student named Gage Medarda was bullying other students, so she decided to intervene. She yelled at him and told him he had no place to criticize others, and that doing so made him puny and pathetic. Proud of herself for standing up to a bully, Maggie went home. The first thing Maggie did when she got back to the apartment was grab some food. Gregory was at the apartment, and he discussed Maggie's training with her. He wants to make sure she's prepared to fight vampires in a moment's notice, but also wants her to understand her limits and when to run. While they were talking, Betsy Solomon, another neighbor from the building, decided she could just walk right into the apartment without being invited. Andrew said this wasn't okay and told her to leave. Frank wanted to summon Bonehilda again because the apartment needs to be cleaned, but Bonehilda didn't show up this time. Maggie had gone to bed early, but she woke up and crafted some wooden stakes. After Gregory's lecture on being prepared, she wanted to make sure she had a weapon at the ready. While she was crafting, Frank took a nap and Andrew went to bed. When Frank woke up from his nap, he started doing all the chores Bonehilda would have done had she shown up. Maggie went into research mode and read more of this vampire tome she bought and then laid down for a nap. Her night isn't over yet, but she needs some rest before she goes hunting. While everyone else was asleep, Frank let his intrusive thoughts win, and he tried a ghastly ritual with his crystal ball, and it turned him into a ghost. He was delighted. He thought it was the coolest thing ever, and the first thing he did was haunt the cat's bowl, but no one was around to see it. Maggie woke up and decided she wanted to patrol at the graveyard. Frank and Andrew, still not fully sure that she can take care of herself, decided to go with her. But they framed it as a group effort, a divide and conquer approach, as the graveyard is quite large. They split up and wandered around the graveyard for some time. Eventually it started raining and each of them made their way into the cathedral to take shelter. Ultimately, nothing happened though. No vampires or supernatural beings showed up and everyone was getting tired, so they decided to just go home. Maggie told Frank and Andrew to go ahead and that she would meet them at the apartment. She said she wanted to stick around a little longer, but once they were gone and she was alone, she called a taxi to take her somewhere else. Back in Willow Creek, Reginald Redding used his vampiric powers to enter a home. He received a tip that the girl he's looking for, Maggie Newman, lives at this address. Inside, however, he didn't find her, but he found her family. First was the girl's mother, Alyssa. Her blood was sweet, and she died quickly. As Grimm claimed her soul, Ethan walked in while stuffing his face. Even though his wife is dying right in front of him, he seems more interested in his meal. This man is a piece of work. Reginald ate him too. And then Reginald found one more sim in the house, a boy named Peter. "Come with me or die," Reginald threatened, and with that, he took possession of Peter Newman. Peter barely managed to grab his parents' urns as Reginald pushed him out the door. Entering her family home, Maggie is nervous. She was told not to visit, but she couldn't stay away. Something has drawn her here today, a feeling. She quickly realizes no one is home. Odd, it's Saturday morning. Her mom should be in the kitchen, her dad should be on the computer, and her little brother should be watching TV. Where is everyone? She walks through the house but finds no one. While sitting in her childhood bedroom, she gets a phone call. Her heart sinks as her little brother Peter cries on the other end. She starts to realize what happened. He doesn't have to say a word. The next voice she hears is Reginald. "Your parents are dead. I have your brother." "Let him go," Maggie yells. "Ha, come and get him."